To get to the Scripps Canyon dive, you start at Scripps Pier, make your way north along the beach to this area where the dive is. Make sure you go with someone that's familiar with the area and specific hazards such as currents, tide levels that make the beach impassable, and submerged rocks. We entered intermediate tributary. We dropped down, we headed northwest and had about a 60-second swim across, continued westish and explored the wall. Then we turned back as far as we could around here. We crossed over, and at some point here-ish, we decided to start heading back towards the shore. This is a pretty ambitious dive. We were going fast and covered a lot of ground. So if you're planning on actually looking at things, you'll never make it this far.
All right, here's Kinley. We're almost 20 minutes into our hike. We're almost at the entry point.
I think Monster was onto something going that way.
And I noticed in a moment you'll see Kinley changing out of his shoes that he's hiking in into his dive booties. His dive booties would have been too slippery, just dangerous to walk in. All right, so we kicked out about 15 minutes.
When we did this dive, there were 2 buoys out here, one connected to the cable, one connected to Sumner Branch. We dropped down the one on Sumner Branch, but these buoys come and go. They get ripped out with storms.
Anyways, what you're going to see here is we're going to drop down into about 70 feet of water. We are on the south side of Sumner Branch. And we're going to head across, heading northwest to hit the other side of the wall. It's going to take us about 60 seconds to cross over. And at about 45 seconds, you start to doubt yourself and wonder if you're ever going to see the wall. And then it appears. Yep, there it is. All right, once we hit it, we're going to turn left, heading basically southwest. All right, so 76 feet. If I remember right, on this dive, we agreed to cross over, hit the wall, and head out for 15 minutes before we turned around, something like that. There are lots of lobsters over here, which is pretty cool. Some gorgonians, which are corals. There's also, I think that's a yellow sponge up in the right-hand corner, and one of the many nudibranchs out here. So here we can see Malta down below, going a little deeper, one of the yellow sponges. Another gorgonian here as we continue to head southwest, working our way out. So we're still getting deeper here. We're at 90 feet about, and I'm kind of sitting on the top of the wall. It's in a sandy, rocky area, and then off to my left it drops down. And I believe this is the time we had gathered up, because it was time for us to turn around. We'd hit our 15-minute marker. We have this cute little sea lion following us. Yep, and now we're turning back around here. This little guy's showing off for us. Bunch of lobster. Yeah, so this is a lot like this. There's a bunch of lobster. There's some nice overhangs. All sorts of growth on the walls here. There's me signaling back to my buddy after he signaled to me. Now we've reached the northeast end. We can actually get down to the bottom, 80, 90 feet at the bottom. I forget exactly. There's this big ramp that heads up at this part of the dive. There's a huge collection of dead seaweed. A lot of times you'll see bubbles just kind of bubbling up from the bottom.
I assume this white growth on the seaweed is a fungus that's breaking it down. Perhaps the bubbles are methane gas being released. If anybody knows, please leave in the comments.
And then now we've rounded that corner and we are heading back. Here's Malta. It's in this little crack as we make our way basically out of Sumner. We're kind of heading out of Sumner in this little crack. He was down there looking around. We just came up over the rim now. We are about to hit the sand and then start heading towards shore. And here we are. And here we are making our way to the surf. And about to do our long 20-minute walk back to the cars.